Kathy, she, her from Illinois, wants to talk a little bit about attending the Universalist church as an atheist. Kathy, we are close to the end. Give us a quick little succinct thing. You're talking with SR, Armin, and Jim, actually.
Oh, yeah. Great. Thanks for letting me in. I just wanted to make a point because I've called about this before. I'm an atheist. I started attending the Universalist Unitarian church close to my home. And I wanted to bring up the point that for some people who are either like in between, what do they believe? And especially, it's kind of like a landing zone for them, where they can be surrounded by people, mostly people who would be open to, we respect all beliefs. However, it's going to be a way of being skeptical about it, in my experience. Like, for example, the Unitarian Church is a Unitarian Association had recently a convention called the Parliament of World Religions, and their goal was, their motto for this year, of course, was not conversion, but instead cooperation. And at least at my particular Universalist Unitarian Church, we have the banners of all religions up there, which I don't want that to seem like it's going to scare people. Oh, no, we don't want any religion. It's just so open to information, and it's also a place for people to just kind of land and decompress, especially, if they have children, family, or if they've just experienced a death in the family rather than go back to their total deep dive. So that's where I'm coming from.
Can I just real quick, because I don't think necessarily there's anything massively problematic. I could definitely take the stance here with you that, the UU church versus insert pretty much any other denomination or stripe of religion. I can probably stand on that side of being like, yeah, I'm cool with them more so than others. They're doing a better job. But just real quick,
I disagree.
So hang on. So here's where I push back a little, Armin, because I think this might be where you're thinking too. So I just real quick went and looked up something because I thought this was the case. And the Unitarian Universalist Association has 7 principles that come from what's called 6 sources of living. And one of those sources, okay. So one of those sources of living apparently is words and deeds of prophetic people, which challenge us to confront powers and structures of evil with justice, compassion, and the transforming power of love. I have a massive problem with that. I also have another problem with this one that says Jewish and Christian teachings, which call us to respond to God's love by loving our neighbor as ourselves. Because see, again, I don't think the God's real. So I think that source of where they're getting their principles is problematic. And when we look at their principles, they seem to be more in line with something like the Second Manifesto of Secular Humanism, which I would argue has better sources. So I would say that compared to other religions, sure, maybe the UU is at the top. But compared to the best out there, the thing that I think we're all trying to really go for, I think secular human is still obviously the better answer.
Oh, absolutely. But I do agree with you. My point is mainly for just a place for community. And, like I said, in the first place,
we've got community here,
especially if you're calling out to, I know that. I mean, in your neighborhood. But yeah, okay, I see your point. No, I know that.
Yeah. And
I might also
you love your neighbor as your... Go ahead. Well, you can also add what?
The Unitarian Association, they are working on their principles, which I know exactly which principles they are. I already know about those. One example is in teaching the children, instead of using the word God, we say things like whatever it is that other people believe, what you know of that other people believe. But that's a little bit, you want to say something, Jim?
Yeah, I was going to point out that the love your neighbor as yourself is kind of a nice little thing to think about. But the problem with it is if you don't love yourself enough, then you can't love anybody else. There's a really, really great little, and this is brought home to me, the great little skit that I saw on TikTok. Hell's Bells, done by See Ya Later. It's SEA, Ya Later. She did this really great thing about pointing out that if you don't love yourself first, you can't love anybody else. You're going to do a really, really bad job of interacting with other people, despite your best intentions, because you don't love yourself. And you have to do that first. So that little thing, that love your neighbors as yourself, just doesn't ring true for me. It never has. And part of it is because you got to start with yourself. And there's nothing about that, about any of those principles. It starts with take care of yourself first, so that you can take care of other people. And it's all about other people. And I just have a problem with that if you don't start with getting yourself right first. And
totally
no
agree.
religion
Go
really
ahead.
talks about that. Yeah, I say no religion really talks about that particular fact.
Yeah. Armin, what are your thoughts?
Groups
Yeah.
Oh, sure. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it's okay.
Armin.
If you wanted to finish, say something. You go ahead, and then I could speak after you finish speaking, Katie. Should I say?
Well, as part of
Okay,
as part of being a member, there's several groups to be in, and you're learning those kinds of things. Like I came right out and said I'm an atheist, and I based my morality on science or reasoning and empathy. And well, the other good thing about it is simply the fact that I have met a lot of atheists there, and we've had some good laughs about our past education and indoctrination. So that was my other good reason for continuing to be there and go there. For myself, I mean.
Yeah,
Okay, so I have I hope like I don't come off as harsh or anything, Katie, but I am very, very sensitive about these kinds of religions that act like they're better than other religions, but they end up working like a trap. When it comes to having good experiences that you mentioned, everywhere else has that as well. Like people have amazing experiences in Christian churches, in mosques, in synagogues, in Hindu temples, but it's just a package what they come with. That's what we have a problem. Like just because people have good experiences but in mosques, that doesn't mean Islam is a good religion. What comes with it is the problem, because we could have all those good experiences that you're having in that church. We have better alternatives for them, right? And we could do that in a better way. So the trap that I'm talking about is without these churches, these people like that are coming out of religion, if these churches of these other religions, these better versions of religion, so-called better versions of religion, if they weren't there, it would have been better because people would have found better alternatives. It's not like these people, these environments, when there's a demand, there will be a supply. So if there's a demand for such services, it will be provided. And when something comes with the name of a church and a religion and does that, what it's doing is giving legitimacy to methodologies that are flawed. So our problem with religion is not just what it results in; it's the entire methodology that pretends that it could provide answers with ways that we know that we know that are flawed, like faith, like revelation. And when people have problems with Islam and Christianity and Hinduism and Judaism, some people think that they just don't like the results, and they go and find alternative religions that is encouraging the same methodology that has led to those results, but the conclusions that they're coming up with, it just feels better. But the problem is that those conclusions that they come up with, that makes them feel it makes that religion is actually more dangerous. Because when I look at the conclusions of Islam and Christianity, I'm like, okay, this is messed up. I don't like this religion. But when some other religion with another brand comes and gives us conclusions that makes us feel good, but it's with the same methodology, that might be even more dangerous, because less people can see that the methodology here is, and also you mentioned that they respect all beliefs, right? That's a problem. Islam doesn't deserve respect. Christianity doesn't deserve respect. Hinduism and Judaism don't deserve respect. So if they, so we agree here. So
Just
I
because
don't
I
have much
have
more
met
else to say.
people that are Buddhist or, yes, I have met people there that are of that other religion. I think maybe my particular church is an exception. Our biggest thing is inclusiveness and equity, and we do a lot of community.
Right.
The LGBTQ mostly, and
it does.
It's not so much a haven for me, but for other people. And I could see where you would be cautious about me saying that we respect all beliefs, because for myself, I have not, and I will not have any.
Just one more sentence, SR, before you talk. See, this is another thing that places like this confuse people, right? Because what we want to be accepting of and tolerant of is people. We want to be accepting of Muslims. We want to be tolerant of Christians, Jews, and Hindus. But they come in, and in the name of tolerance and accepting, they respect and accept people's beliefs. We don't want to accept that. We don't want to be tolerant of bad ideas. We want to be tolerant of people who happen to have bad ideas, but we work to try to eliminate bad ideas, bad beliefs. That's what we do. And when a church comes and with the excuse of being loving and being tolerant and being accepting, promotes the idea of being accepting of bad ideas, that is dangerous. That's a dangerous methodology. We should be against that. Anyways, I spoke enough.
Yeah, and I think a great place for us to kind of wrap up is exactly where Armin was leading to, which is
I do too. I just want
the three of us.
My slogan is my motto.
Yeah. Hang on just a second, Kathy. I'll let you end the whole show out. I promise. Okay. But I think the three of us up here would all say it sounds like the experience that you've had is good. And it sounds like that there are, some good positive things for society as a whole that can come from this.
Yeah, that's right.
But kind of like our poll question in the chat, which is, is there anything good that exclusively comes from this? And I think the three of us would say, no, you can find all of those great things, even better, actually, in secular, non-religious places. And we should support those places instead of going to the Universalist, churches, maybe. So, but yeah, I think that's kind of it. We're going to give you the last couple of seconds here, and then we'll get out of here. So,
yeah, I was just going to give you my motto, my slogan.
Yeah, finish us out with that.
Care for Earth. Okay. Yeah. Be good to self. Care for Earth. Love your fellow human.
I don't have any disagreements there. Yeah.